Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Something is happening in Nakuru, Molo. Last week, when Deputy President held a closed-door meeting in Joro, hosting a group that was reported to be minority groups that are staying there and victims of 2007 ugly post-election violence, journalists were chased from that room. And I insisted in my analysis that William Ruto did not want the journalists to cover Rigathi Gachagua's speech because there was already a lot of attention on what Rigathi Gachagua was going to say in Molo. And this narrative was created by Kinyanjui that was insisting that some of the heinous acts that had been meted on maybe some residents of Molo sometime back during Moi's regime were under the watch of one Rigathi Gachagua was serving there as a DO. But that narrative was at the center of that meeting. And to some extent, Deputy President knew very well that what Rigathi Gachagua was going to say there was going to be blown and most probably was going to be used against him. And I normally say that if there is someone that for him to achieve his political ambitions, he will have to undergo through a lot of battles. He has a lot of battles because having just rose from first-time member of parliament to a running mate, to get a running mate slot with a leading presidential candidate, then that shows you that for him, things are not going to be easy. Kinyanjui has been part of the team, and of course you will realize that there's been this slogan of give Rigathi Gachagua the mic, because people believe that whenever he's given that microphone, there are things that he says that are not really adding votes to Deputy President William Ruto. So the peace, Nakuru is a point for the peace mission. Today, Rigathi Gachagua had a direct tackle on Kinyanjui, trying to respond to this question of whether he worked as a DO in Molo, and that response really created a lot of reaction online. I want us to listen to Rigathi Gachagua's response.
Kenyatta nikiwa personal assistant wake kumtafutia kura. Tangu nilipoandikwa kazi 1989, ni vizuri nieleze pale nilifanya kazi. 1989 nilifanya kazi Wizara ya Home Affairs. Mwaka wa 1990 nikakuwa Kinyanjui. 1992 nikakuwa Office of the President nikiwa personal assistant wa Professor Philip Mbithi. 1993 nikakuwa Kiambaa pale Kiambu. 1996 nikakuwa Limuru hapo Kiambu. 1997 nikakuwa Kakamega. 1998 nikakuwa Ng'arwa Laikipia. From there mwaka wa 2002 nikakuwa personal assistant wa Uhuru Kenyatta. I have never worked here. Na kama kuna mtu aliniona nikifanya kazi leo aseme. Kuna mtu aliniona hapa? I've never. Mimi nimefanya kazi wilaya ya Kinyaga, nimefanya Laikipia, nimefanya Kakamega, nimefanya Garissa, nimefanya Nairobi. Wewe Kinyanjui unasema ati sisi tukuje hapa tuombe msamaha. Sisi hatuwezi omba msamaha kwa sababu hatujafanya makosa yoyote. Tumekubaliana? Wewe Kinyanjui ndio unatakiwa kuja Molo uombe msamaha, kwa sababu babako mzazi aliyokuzaa alikuwa commander in chief of the armed forces and the president of Kenya, watu ya Molo wakiulia. Tunakubaliana? Wewe Kinyanjui, you are the one to come to Molo and apologize to the people of Molo for the sins of commission and omission by your father, who was the president of the Republic of Kenya and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Kwa hivyo wewe achana na mimi. Wewe ulikuwa unafikiria ati utachokora hii watu wanichukie mimi. Watu ya Molo unasikia nikitetea watu wa Kikuyu. Nilikuwa nagerelia. Nikamshira gereza. Alitaka nisikuje hapa. Nisiongee mambo ya unga. Lazima tuongee mambo ya unga.
Yes, so that is what Rigathi Gachagua is saying. A heavily loaded response. I wanted to look at it two ways first. Whatever is in Nakuru, the stake in Nakuru are two. Presidential basket, that the votes that go to William Samoei Ruto, and the votes that also go to Susan Kihika. And I want to just ask a question. With creating those lines, because there is something he's saying that statement, that Lee Kinyanjui is a father, or rather is the son of the late President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. That is what Rigathi Gachagua is simply trying to say there. What I would really want to, I would question is, does that add the votes to Kihika? Do that narrative help William Ruto? I am not sure. That one is something we can debate. However, there is something interesting in Rigathi Gachagua's statement. And that's why I think it's a rebound on him. Rigathi Gachagua has always insisted that Raila Odinga is old, he's been in government for long, and has done nothing. And you will listen to William Ruto in the campaign trail when they go somewhere. For example, when they go to campaign somewhere in Mombasa, he will always say Raila and him and Uhuru have achieved this and that, and so in this area you can track development records to them. Why he does this is he enjoys the benefit of currency, the currency of the projects, because the projects that were done by Jubilee government, perhaps Jubilee 1 and Jubilee 2, that are very close to the people. What Raila Odinga achieved during his tenure as a prime minister, or rather as a minister, was way back. That is like 15 years ago. So you cannot trace that. However, Rigathi Gachagua is simply saying that he started working in government when Raila was actually away, when Raila was in exile in Norway. Can you find out? Raila in 1989, if Raila was not in detention here, then he had been released, and there was another threat of another detention, and he flew to Norway. So I think from today we should agree that the narrative that Raila has not done anything and that Raila has been in government for long, the truth is Rigathi Gachagua should not say that. He started working in government in 1989 when Raila Odinga was in exile. That's a strong rebound on him. Now, I don't understand why he has, in fact, it was a direct response to Lee Kinyanjui, but invoking Moi's, the larger Moi's family in it, even though Moi is now deceased, while recently Deputy President is believed to have been trying to reach out to the family of Moi for support. And of course I saw that meeting. He met with the grandson, the sons of Moi, not the senior Moi. The senior Moi is so distinct, and I think is one of the politicians in this country that is so diplomatic and has a firm stand. Remember when when Musalia Mudavadi was trying to play their mischief in Bomas of Kenya on January 23rd, Moi walked out, Gideon Moi walked out, and there was no negotiation. Kalonzo was still talking about what next. He went. Now, even when the way he handled Kalonzo, during the time there was that lobby for Kalonzo to rejoin Azimio la Umoja, he was in KCC, then was in Kalonzo, and I think was the person that delivered Kalonzo back to Azimio la Umoja and has taken a backseat. However, I don't know why running mate to deputy president would have an attack on Moi's family, while at the same time they've been trying to reach out to Moi's family for endorsement. It's not yet clear, and I feel that he needed to respond to Lee Kinyanjui, but on the issue of the Moi, it's becoming a little bit not fitting. Now, Gachagua is also talking about something very interesting. Molo did not suffer just in 1992. Nakuru and the Molo area also suffered in the 2007 post-election violence. Even honestly, if you ask the 2022 voters, the violence that I think it was the most, someone can challenge, but I think the 2007 was the worst in the history of this country since independence. You can't challenge me on this. But in my generation, we can argue that the 2007 was the most heinous and the worst, and we are not believing that there will be none. We are that is already behind us. Now, when the 2007 happened, Moi had already left power. So if it is about apology, and I don't think that the best way to address this issue is about an apology. I don't know, because how can you say that Moi's family to go through an apology, and honestly you know that deputy president is facing ICC cases on issues that are attached to that? Why I think this is a wrong route for Rigathi Gachagua is because it's going to create the rebirth of the ICC conversation. Honestly, I can tell you this. Wait, I am not a prophet. I'm not the strategist. But Rigathi Gachagua getting involved in this directly, now invoking the Moi family, what exactly will happen? I think the way Kinyanjui had tried to speak about it, had brought it, which totally also didn't appreciate that way. But it's the trajectory it's taking, it will revive the ICC question. The PEVs, post-election violence victims, are in Molo and Nakuru and Naivasha. So these are not areas that you really want to touch on that. Now, do you know that in 2002, when Rigathi Gachagua says that he was working, he says between 1998, I think 98 to 2002, he was working personal assistant to President, to now current President Uhuru Kenyatta. Moi gave a hand, or rather endorsed Uhuru Kenyatta, who is from Gema, as his successor. And even in 2013, Uhuru gave a hand, the senior Moi, before he passed on, gave a hand on Uhuru Kenyatta to succeed him. So the person that shaped the succession politics in Gema Nation is Moi. President Uhuru Kenyatta is the president today. He was introduced in the political scene by the senior late Moi. So this is a narrative that I don't know how it will honestly work out. And I have a general feeling that this might not be the best. Tribal divisions might create disadvantage. And this is the truth. When you tell the senior Kinyanjui that your biological father is Moi, and Moi was a Kalenjin, so he's simply trying to tell Nakuru voters that Kinyanjui is a Kalenjin. So to what extent, who does that benefit? While majority of people, because of Kinyanjui, yes, people behind the scene might have this information and have that understanding, but the voters know is from Gema. Is it a strategy to try to tell the Gema Nation in Nakuru not to vote for Lee? And if so, can it also mean that Moi's Kalenjin community should not vote for Kihika? It's a very dangerous balance, ladies and gentlemen. I have a general feeling that it's not one of the best narratives, but we are in politics. That is what it is. And tell us, what is your take on the Moi issue, on the Molo issue with Moi?